Ojai. Zaragoza, the city in the northeast of Spain, the capital of the autonomous region Aragon, the province Zaragoza and the district of the same name. It is located on average a watercourse of Ebro, about 200 meters above sea level. The population of the city, about 660,000 people, the fifth largest city of Spain. Zaragoza was founded by Romans in the 24th year BB under the name Colonia Caesar Augusta, colony of the Emperor Augustus, from which there was her present name. In 380 in Zaragoza the General Christian Synod took place. In 712-713 years the city was won by Arabs. Since the 8th century Zaragoza belonged to the Cordoba Caliphate and served as a Mauritian outpost in fight as against Christian kingdoms of northern Spain. After the disintegration of the Caliphate Zaragoza became the center of the independent Muslim state before it was won in 1118 by the King of Aragon and Navarre Alfonso I during Reconquista, and subsequently became the prospering capital of his kingdom. Under the decree Alfonso I, all Arabs inhabiting Zaragoza had to leave city boundaries. Since the end of the 12th century Zaragoza was the center of Aragon and was one of the political centers of Spain. In October 1348 at Peter IV in Zaragoza, Cortes adopted the law forbidding education of the coalitions directed against the king. Riots of 1391 didn't affect Jews of Zaragoza, and the city became under leadership of the philosopher and rabbi Hisdai Crescus by the center of the Jewish life in Spain. In 1492 there was a final exile of Jews and Arabs from Zaragoza that significantly reduced population of Zaragoza. Nevertheless, Zaragoza remained one of the largest cities of Spain. For 1548 about 250,000 lived here. Inhabitants. After reunification of Spain at the end of the 15th century the city lost the value, but became famous during the Spanish War of Independence for heroic defense against the French besieging them from 1808 to 1809, when about 50,000 defenders of the city died. The descendant of an old Aragonese noble family, José Rebolledo de Palafox and Melci, directed defense of the city. He wasn't a military, but during the revolt in Zaragoza was proclaimed by the general captain and successfully directed defense of Zaragoza nearly 9 months. He won a victory over generals of Verdillo and Lefebvre d'Anouilly during the first 2-month siege and storm of Zaragoza. The second siege storm of Zaragoza was headed by Napoleonic marshals Monzi and later Lanz. 2 buildings, 3rd and 5th. Great army of Napoleon participated in the second siege. That made more than 5,000 people. During 2 sieges the French lost about 25,000 people, and defenders more than 5,000. So big losses of Spaniards are explained by considerable losses among the civilian population. More than 3,000. However, at the moment in Zaragoza it was impossible to call the civilian population peace. All battle capable to hold weapon, including women and children. In 8 days until the end of battle the seriously ill, often fainting Palafox gave St. Marcos command. Palafox in unconsciousness was taken prisoner to the French and was taken out to France. Palafox returned to Zaragoza only after Napoleon's falling. At the end of Palafox's life I became a Duke Zaragoza. In the first attempt of capture of Zaragoza during civil war rebels failed, the second attempt was crowned with success. After capture of the city of Zaragoza I became the coherent center of nationalists in the region. In the years of war at the cemetery Torero 3543 Republicans were liquidated. In the second half of the 20th century, thanks to industrialization and an urbanization, the economy of Zaragoza began to develop in high gear. In the city and vicinities new factories were opened that attracted the new population. Now Zaragoza is the fifth largest city of Spain. In 2008 in the city there took place the World Fair, which gave a new impetus to development of economy of Zaragoza. As of January 1, 2012, 679,624 persons lived in Zaragoza. From them men of 48.4%, women -51.2%. Distribution of the population of Zaragoza on age groups on data of a population census of 2011. Up to 16 years -15.1%. From 16 to 64 years -66.2%. 65 years -18.7% or more senior. The share of the foreign population makes 12.4%. At the same time, most of foreigners are from the African countries and also the countries of Central and South America and West Indies. They are followed by citizens of the European Union. As the city lies in a river basin of Ebro surrounded from all directions with mountains, climate of Zaragoza, 7 arid. Steppe. On classification of climates of Kiopanesque. However, signs so typical for Sredozemnomorny climate are observed. Dry summer and winter and more humid climate in the spring and in the fall. While the summer is usually droughty at temperatures up to 40 C, the majority of rainfall drop out in the spring. Low temperatures from 0 to 10 C are caused by frequent fog in the winter. In total about 20 days from November to January. A cold dry wind from the northwest direction. In the winter sometimes there are frosts and snow. Zaragoza is the fourth city of Spain on extent of economic development. The agriculture role in the region gradually decreases. The basis of the economy of the city is the industry. The plant on production of opal cause opened in 1982 in municipality Figueruelas near Zaragoza is one of the most important employers of the region. At the plant the models Opal Cosa, Mariva, Combo are produced. The plant in Figueruelas, where 6,400 people are busy, is the biggest plant of the General Motors company in Europe. Near the plant firm suppliers of automobile components located. Besides, in Zaragoza there are branches of the Czech, Bosch and Siemens Hausgerät GmbH companies. Production of household appliances. Construcciones y auxiliar de ferrocarriles. Railway systems. Sociedad Anónima Industrias Chalulasa Aragonesa, Ictabarica and Torres Papel. Production of paper. Picolin. Production of mattresses. La Casa. Chocolate. Tata Hispana. Production of buses. Ambar, Brewing, and others. Such projects as Plataforma Logística de Zaragoza EASE Plaza, the largest center of logistics in southern Europe, turned Zaragoza into the third in goods turnover terminal of Spain after Madrid and Barcelona. Carrying out in the city of Expo-2008 also gave an impetus of modernization of the city, to construction of business infrastructure. For example, buildings of the World Trade Center of Zaragoza, and promoted transformation of the city into a modern business complex. In 16 kilometers from the city, the Zaragoza airport, ZAZ, is located. His opening took place in September 1947. The passenger turnover of the airport made 551,000 people in 2012. The airport connects a regular bus route with the city. The trip to the taxi to the center of Zaragoza costs about €20. The airport also offers car rental services. In March 2008, occasionally Expo-2008, the new terminal was open. The modern building can accept about 1 million passengers a year. Now the airport is involved by 4 airlines: Ryanair, Air Europa, Air Nostrum and Wizz Air, making regular flights to London, Paris, Brussels, Milan, Bucharest, Cluj-Napoca and also to Mallorca, Tenerife and Lanzarote. The organization of flights to Prague, to Timashore and Marrakesh is planned. Besides commercial use, the airport is also base of the Air Force of Spain. The landing strip is used for transatlantic crash landing of the space shuttle. Zaragoza is located on a piece of the high-speed railroad Renfe between Madrid and Barcelona. Trip duration to Madrid is about 75 minutes, to Barcelona about 90 minutes. Both trains of the distant direction and suburban Cercanías electric trains depart from the main station of the city. Intermodal Zaragoza Delicious station opened in May 2007. First Cercanías line was opened on June 11, 2008 and connected Zaragoza to suburbs Casetas, Utebo, Delicias, Portillo and Miraflores. Expansion of network of suburban electric trains is planned for the west and for the east, and also construction of the second line. The network of highways connects Zaragoza with the cities of Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao and Valencia, each of which is located approximately in 300 km from Zaragoza. Through the city there passes Mudallar. In -23. Highway connecting through the Samport Tunnel Spain to France. However, today the condition of the road on border of two countries causes complaints. For optimization of traffic through the city, 2 highways are built. Z-30 Afring unloads the downtown. Z-40, the bypass highway organizing transit traffic from the west on the north. Today construction of Route Z-50 capable to completely liquidate jams in the city is planned. Construction is completely financed by the state. City transport is presented by the extensive network of Urban Transport Company of Zaragoza buses. TUZA. Consisting of 31 regular lines, 2 of which circular. Buses service also 30 municipalities located at distance up to 30 km from the center of Zaragoza. Zuera, San Mateo de Gallego, Lake, Mule, La Mula and others. It is possible to pay a trip in the city bus having red collar, habitual for Aragon, with orange strips, having bought the special Interbus payment card. First line of the Zaragoza tram was put into operation on April 19, 2011. She passes from the northeast on the southwest through the main attractions of the city. Line extent -12.8 km, the expected passenger traffic -35 million passengers a year. The construction of 2 new lines is now conducted. In Zaragoza there is also a city public network of BZ Zaragoza bicycles. It was open occasionally Expo-2008 in June 2008. Originally the city bought 350 bicycles and built 29 stations distributed generally along coast of Ebro, and also organized laying of 88.4 km of bicycle paths. In November 2008 BZ totaled already subscribers. In September 2009 BZ carried out the first considerable expansion to 1,000 bicycles and 100 stations, having reached number in 29,000 subscribers and 90,000 daily applications. The city expects to cover with BZ network all city by 2014, having organized 250 stations, having involved 2,500 bicycles and 6,000. The service works 365 days in a year from 6 o'clock till 24 o'clock. The annual price of a subscription is €25. In the city several theatres work. The oldest of them, the main theatre Teatro Principal. Also it should be noted Teatro del Mercado, Teatro de la Estación, Teatro de las Esquinas and Teatro Arbol having exclusively children's repertoire. Teatro Fleta for several years stopped work waiting for construction of the new building. The Concert Hall Auditorio of Zaragoza has the hall with remarkable acoustics. In this hall there take place concerts of chamber orchestra Enigma Orquesta de Camara. Under the contract with administration the orchestra plays own small concert season, paying special attention to modern music. He also holds educational concerts for schools and works with Chorus Auditorio, Amici Musica. In Zaragoza the Center of Drama Arts of Aragon, Teatro de la Ribera, Teatro Imaginario, Kaleidoscopio, Muec, Belladonna, Teatro del Temple and also the Municipal Drama School having a long story are based. Zaragoza, the pioneer of film production. The local native Eduardo Jimeno Corres shot one of the first Spanish movies, Salida de Mesa del Pilar, in 1896. In the city a number of the famous directors, actors, critics, continuity writers at different times worked. In particular, directors Florine Rey, José Luis Baró, José María Fork, Fernando Palacios, Antonio Otero, Santos Alcocer, Alfredo Castellan, José Antonio Maines, Raúl Artagot, to José Antonio Duca, José Luis Gonsalvo, Alberto Sanchez, Modern Miguel Angel Lamotta and Luis Alegre. Among screenwriters Santiago Aguilar Oliver is known. Zaragoza has the developed library network consisting of the coordinating center and 24 municipal public libraries. Also in the city the Municipal Archive of Zaragoza and Library of Aragon is located. Under the care of the Government of Aragon. The University of Zaragoza has rich library. Holidays. Gift of flowers to Virgin Mary during the Fiestas del Pilar festival. On January 29, day of Saint Valery Saragossa, the patron of the city. On March 5, Los Encomarzada. This holiday is celebrated annually in memory of firmness of residence in attempt of capture of Zaragoza by Carlists on March 5, 1838 during the First Carlist War. Holy Week. Semana Santa. This holiday is pride not only Zaragoza, but also Spain in general. This week in the city more than 50 colorful processions on Christian motifs are held. A symbol of festivals are beats of huge drums and cymbals. On April 23, day of Saint George. Saint George is the Victorious, the patron of Aragon. A holiday in his honor is official day off in Zaragoza and is marked out as Day of Aragon since 1461. Procession with palm trees in the Palm Sunday. On June 24, day of Saint Ioan. This Christian holiday traditionally coincides with day of a summer solstice and is celebrated in the night of June 24. This night in Zaragoza, the most colorful in a year. Everywhere the lit fires of torches and fires symbolize force of the sun. In some districts of the city, in particular, in the Delicias Park, hundreds of people till the morning have fun at huge fires. On October 29, the festival in honor of the Virgin Pilar. The Virgin Pilar is considered the patroness of the city. On a legend, Virgin Mary was to the Apostle Jacob when it began to christen the first Christians. In honor of the Virgin Basilica di Nostra Signora del Popolo, one of the oldest temples in honor of Virgin Mary was constructed. The holiday can last up to 10 days and annually a large number of tourists, in particular his most colorful part, a gift of flowers to Virgin Mary, and also a solemn procession of Rosario de Cristales, a parade of the huge heads, gigantes y cabezudos, and troops of sidewalk artists and musicians attracts. During the whole year, especially in the spring and in the summer, less large scale, but from it past not less colorful holidays offering entertainments for any audience, especially for youth in various districts of the city with concerts of the famous local groups and discos. Especially regions of Delicias are famous for the entertainments in San Jose. Education. The University of Zaragoza is one of the oldest in Spain and the only state university in autonomous community. It was founded in 1583. At the university more than 4,000 students study at 22 faculties. Now the university is located in several cases, 2 of which are within the city. The University of Zaragoza is famous for the scientific activity and partner programs with foreign highest institutions. The private university Universidad San Jorge is in Villanueva de Gallego in 13 came from Zaragoza. Zaragoza has rich literary traditions. In the city there lived Ramon Sender, Baltasar Gracian, Prolio Fos, Maria de Saez, José Mor de Fuentes, Mariano de Cavia, Mariano Miguel de Wol, Maria Pilar Sinus, José Martí, Bartolomé Leonardo de Arconsola, Lupercio Leonardo de Arconsola, Miguel Labradeta, Thomas Saralaicasas, Felipe Le, Luis Buñuel, Ildefonso Manuel Gil, Julio Antonio Gomez, Jesus Moncada, Eduardo Diori, José Maria Matu. Juan Eduardo Coelho Tuchusa Isul, Eduardo Valdivia, Bahia bin Yosef ibn Pacuda and others. Among modern writers Ignacio Martinez de Pizan, Soledad Portolas, Mariano Baistain, Jose Maria Conguit, Anton Castro, Miguel Mina, Cristina are most known to Branda Ismael Grassa, Daniel Gascon, Rodolfo Notival, Jose Antonio Labradeta, Angela Labradeta, Vital Siders, Ignacio Garcia Valino, Jose Jimenez Corbatin, Javier Delgado, Santiago Gascon, Adolfo Ayuso, Ana Alcolia, Javier Barrero, Ramona Sinfano. For Angels de Irizarry, Magdalena Lasala, Felix Romeo, Julio Jose Ordovas. Among poets Fernando Ferrero, Fernando San Martin, Manuel Vilas, Fernando Anda, Angel Guinda, Emilio Gustin, Joaquin Sanchez Valles, Ana Maria Navales, David Mayo, Ignacio Esquin, Paco Rubiuses. Among playwrights, as Alfonso Plau, Marian Anos and Rafael Campos are known. At last, in a genre of children's literature, Daniel Nescanzis, Fernando Lalana, Francis Melendez and others work. Art. The painter Francisco de Goya is considered the greatest native of Zaragoza. Though actually he was born in 44, came from Zaragoza in the settlement Fuendetodos. Also residents honor heritage of the master of the 15th century Blasco de Granian. In the 16th century the art style of Renaissance was presented in the city by such masters as Geronimo Cosida, Pedro Morón, Roland de Moix and Francisco Lupicini. Development of Baroque painting was connected with names of Geronimo de Mora, Miguel Geronimo Oriri, Pablo Rabiela, Juana Orcoina, Francisco del Plano, Rafael Pertis, Vicente Bradusin and Giuseppe Martinez. Painting of the 18th century was presented by names of José Luzon, the first teacher Goya, and Francisco Bayeu, one more pupil Luzon. In the 19th century natives of Zaragoza Bernardino Montanes, Marcelino de Ainquete, Mariano Barbazan and also Francisco Pradilla, who was born in Villanueva de Gallego in 8 miles from Zaragoza, became the famous painters. It is necessary to distinguish Manuel from painters of the 20th century Viola, Santiago Lagunas, José Manuel Broto Jimeno, Francisco Marin Bades and Fermin Aguayo. Pepe Cerda, Angel, Vicente Pascual Rodrigo, Fernando Sinaga, Lina Vila and Dino Valls, the most famous modern artists of Zaragoza. Among sculptors of special attention deserve Gilmore Lanes, sure. The finished facade of a Basilica of Iglesia de Santa Engracia begun by his father and also Geronimo Sacano, Felix Burial and Carlos Pala. In the photo in 1837. In 2 years prior to the official invention of technology of the photo, Louis Dager, José Ramos Cepetti from Zaragoza fixed the image on a copper plate in a photolaboratory. Between 1856 and 1874 he based the photographic office, having given the business to Anselmo Maria Coinu subsequently. After his son Ignacio Coin La Petra I expanded production and Coin based a film studio, cinema. Zaragoza, a cradle of a new Aragonese song. Music style which leaders became José Antonio Labradeta, Joaquín Carbonell and La Bolonera Ensemble and also modern performers Angel Petisme and Carmen Paris. Also Zaragoza, the homeland of the rock group Heroes del Silencio, founded in the 1980th years. Modern indie music, the El Niño Gusano groups play Tachenko, La Costa Brava and D.A. The rap and hip-hop is leaders of the Directions the Violadores del Verso group. In a punk rock the tone is set by Manolo Cabasabola, in blues, Ana Midden. Among the musical magazines published in the city, Zona de Obras, focusing attention on the Latin American music and culture. Sport. The football club, Real Zaragoza, founded in 1932, participates in Segunda, the second division of the Spanish league, and is a six-time owner of the Cup of Spain. In the highest division of the Championship of Spain, the club totally spent more than 55 seasons. Most successfully, the club acted in the 1960th, 1980th and in the first half of the 1990th years. One of the most nice events in the contemporary history of team is gaining the Cup of Owners of UEFA Cups of 1994/95. The club acts at Romareda Stadium. 34000. Places. At this stadium there took place 3 matches of the FIFA World Cup of 1982 and also matches of the Olympic football tournament of 1992. The second most powerful football club of the city, Ebro. In the city, the women's soccer team Club Deportivo Transportes Alcaine is also based. The handball B Aragon team plays in the highest Spanish league, Liga Sobal. The Zaragoza basketball club also acts now in the highest Spanish Division 2 League AC. The club acts on the pavilion of Prince Felipe Arena, accommodating 107,000 viewers. Zaragoza together with Hoca submitted the application for holding the Winter Olympic Games of 2014, but didn't succeed in it. Museums. Pablo Serrano's Museum. Center of History. The Assassin Museum of Zaragoza. Pablo Gargalo's Museum. Pilar's Museum. Museum of Tapestries of the La CEO. Big collection of tapestries of the 15th-18th centuries, one of the best in Europe. Museum of Zaragoza. Pablo Serrano's Museum. Contains works of the sculptor Pablo Serrano, the founder of Grupo El Paso and the winner of an award of arts of the Prince of Asturias in 1982. Museum Cayman Asner. And the Paleontologic Museum. In the territory of the university. Ethnographic Museum. Museum of Ceramics of Zaragoza. The Museum Tornueva, in honor of the Aragonese palace destroyed in the 19th century. Museum of Fire and Flame. Museo de la Zaragozana, located in the building of Old Brewery. Center of Research of Sustainable Development of the Cities. Valdesparta's vicinity. Museum of Military Academy. Museums of History of the Roman Times. Roman Theatre. Forum. Terms. River Port. The River Aquarium is constructed for Expo-2008, probably the biggest freshwater aquarium in Europe. Sites. Symbols of Zaragoza, a Basilica of Nuestra Señora del Pilar and stone bridge through Ebro. Concert of the rock group, Heroes del Silencio, in Seville, 2007. The image of Zaragoza was formed throughout many centuries. The majority of cultural monuments and history are concentrated in the old city of Zaragoza, in spite of the fact that the city fairly was damaged during the Wars of Independence in the 19th century. Remind the rests of defensive strengthenings, the Roman theatre, the Roman Forum, an antique river fort and public baths of the Roman period. The stone bridge through the Ebro River has centuries-old history. Already during the Roman period the bridge, presumably wooden, was at his place. The bridge which remained up to now was built in the first half of the 15th century. He is also called lions, as on both sides of the bridge on columns 4 lions, city symbols, rise. Basilica of Nuestra Señora del Pilar, the largest church of Spain in Baroque style, one of symbols of Zaragoza. Originally on this place the first Christians established a chapel. In the 40th year the Virgin was to the Apostle Jacob about Pilar's column. The basilica is considered the oldest and the most esteemed temple in honor of Virgin Mary in Spain, and Virgin Pilar, the patroness of Zaragoza. In a basilica there are Goya and Francisco Bayeu's frescoes, also well-known altar of work of Damian Forment. The 16th century. Near a basilica there are old St. Petersburg stock exchanges of Lolonc, and the palace of the bishop. The Cathedral San Salvador, Cathedral Los CEO, which is recently restored, kept apses from the Romance church constructed at the end of the 12th century. The architecture of cathedral combines various styles. One of chapels is executed in style, others in style the Renaissance, a tower in Baroque style. At an interior of cathedral there are elements of a Gothic style and Flemish tapestries. The cathedral is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Aljaferia, the palace in Mauritian style built in the 11th century for the Caliph of Ataifa of Zaragoza al-Muqtadir. The palace was used by also Christian governors of Aragon, in particular, Peter IV and Ferdinand. In the 19th century Aljaferia suffered from Napoleonic troops. Subsequently he was used as the headquarters of Inquisition, and nowadays, as the residence of Parliament of Aragon. The most ancient part of fortress, the Troubadour's Tower, appears in the opera by Verdi, Troubadour. Thanks to the fact that the Muslim population of Zaragoza wasn't so constrained in the actions as in other Spanish cities, their art in many respects affected the image of the city. First of all, in architecture of Zaragoza the synthetic style in which elements Mauritian closely intertwined is noticeable. Gothic and is later than the Renaissance art. In style both houses and public, including many churches. Church of San Pablo, San Gil, San Miguel, Church of Magdalena. A surf tower of La of Torreon de la Zuda were constructed. Some buildings built in style are entered in the UNESCO World Cultural Heritage List. Modern architecture. The regional headquarters of Confederation Aragon. CRI. The former pavilion of Aragon at the World Fair in Seville. Pablo Serrano's Museum. Quarter of Puerta Sanigia, office and inhabited space. World Trade Center of Zaragoza, the business complex located between Maria Zambrano's streets and Gertrudis Gomez de Avellaneda, one of the highest buildings in the city. Argonia, the complex of office, commercial, inhabited and entertaining rooms designed as developed by Rafael Moneo. Lamvadari providing navigation across Ebro. Airport of Zaragoza. The new terminal was started in 2008. The architecture dated for Expo-2008. The Spain Pavilion built on Paqui Mengado's project. Nowadays, the Institute building on researches of global climate changes. The Bridge Pavilion constructed on the project of the famous British architect Zaha Hadid. Inhams to the cultural center under the auspices of Bank Holding Ibercaja will be placed. Water column, a skyscraper, the developed Enrique de Teresa. In the cultural center under the auspices of CAI will be placed. Conference Center of Aragon. The Aragon Pavilion is told under the headquarters of the Ministry of Education of Aragon. The bridge, third millennium, designed by the engineer Juan José Arenas. Aquarium of Zaragoza. Metropolitan Aquapark. Squares and squares. Pala Square, around which are located by Pilar, the law CEO, the mayor's office and the market. Nezavisosti Drive. The area of Spain. And the area of Aragon. The center of Zaragoza. El Tubo. The labyrinth of narrow streets abounding with bars and café and located behind the area of Spain. Yastitsai Square. St. Philip Square. Sviatoy Marti Square. St. Bruno Square. The market of antiques and craft products open every Sunday. Grand Park. Natural monuments. Ebro River and its embankment. The Grand Park of Jose Antonio Labradeta. Earlier a name of Miguel Primo de Rivera. Imperial Channel of Aragon. Natural Park Calaco Juslibol. Natural Park Calaco La Alfranca. Luis Buñuel's Aquapark. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.